Hey, we finally got the intro fixed. Thank you, Brendan, for getting that done. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to another episode of the Atlanta Sea Colony live stream. My name is Adam Jewell, and with me is my buddy right over here to my left. We need to get Wonder Twin power things. Let me do a little bit of that. Anyways, that's Brendan. Brendan over here. I'm gonna put your picture on my wall over here, so that way, like, if I want to make reference to you, like I'm looking at you, I can just look at my wall because then it looks like I'm looking at your screen.
If you're gonna do now, I don't need a whole shrine to myself put over there with candles and everything.
Well, that's in the back over here. I'm just saying I have to move one of your pictures up here. Is what I'll have to do.
Gotcha.
How have you been, buddy? How have you been since last week?
Busy. It's been a very busy weekend. Last couple of days. It's going to be a busy rest of my week. I'm not looking forward to it. That's okay.
Idle hands, something or another. I don't know. There's a saying about idle hands.
Well, definitely, I don't have time for idle hands, but
something. It's like there's like a hard work analogy or something. I just don't know what right off the top of my head.
How have you been?
Busy, but it's right now, meetings, I live in South Dakota. We're kind of getting prepped for the incoming potential winter weather.
Right.
Out west on the western side of South Dakota, they already got hit with a bunch of snow. We're not expecting snow right now, but we're supposed to get a lot of like rain tomorrow, and it's supposed to be super cold. So I think it's gonna all start kind of heading towards that now.
We're supposed to get a cold front in this weekend and drop down to the 70s next week. So
70s is the cold front for you? That's
right now
awesome. Awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. So do we have any updates we want to give before we do our theme for today? Do you have anything in talking points you want to do?
I said the only thing I really want to say is I want to shout out to everybody in the Discord because you guys have been rocking it. I mean, I get all these messages through the day. I've just been so busy. I come home at night and try to respond to them. But yeah, you guys have been really carrying some good conversations and there's some good ideas and stuff. So thank you very much. Yes, babe, the 70s.
70s, that's when
and by the way, welcome back, babe. You haven't been here for like a month, so
yeah.
Glad to see you. And by the way, I am not ignoring you on Facebook. I will respond to your message.
He's ignoring you.
No. It's just because I want to set up a time to talk to you. So we good.
So what do you think? Do you want to dive into this week's topics?
You anything else you want to go over? You have anything else going on that you need to talk about?
No. So, we'll just kind of say, like, October, we've kind of got a lot of, I don't know, I've kind of hijacked October just so we can do, like...
That's fine. It's works great with my schedule, so...
Yeah, the mysteries and stuff. So, and if you guys have some ideas on, like, something like, the spooky or the mysterious or unexplained type things that you want to cover, hit me up, and then we can do an episode because we still got next Tuesday, and then I believe, we got next Tuesday and the 26th. Plus, I'm planning on doing a live stream, and like I said, Brendan, you're free to join me. If not, I'm gonna just hijack the account myself, and I'll be doing I'll be playing a oceanic themed horror game. I haven't decided which one. I've narrowed it down to 2. And I'll get some more details on that. But basically, you guys can come in and join me that night and hang out and watch me get scared.
I wonder if we could do 2 at one time.
Like 2 games?
Yeah, like I do one and you do one.
Not on the same account.
You sure?
Well, I mean, technically we could have we could, but that would be really messed up. Maybe we could play Phasma on that night.
That has nothing to do with underwater.
No, but it's a game where both you and I are getting scared.
We're screaming like little girls the whole night. That's not happening. One thing I do want to say that we're talking about, you hijacking all of October is one of the things that I do definitely want to do is this is fun and we're having a good time, but we do need to be focusing on Atlanta Sea Colony as well and getting back on track with that too. So October is kind of an off month. That's why I'm letting you do that. But I also do want to throw out the invitation for people like Babe, who's been on here before, to come on and maybe get some guest spots talking about certain subjects as I'm still trying to work on. Now nobody's responded to me about that, said they were going to come on and do live streams. So maybe they're just busy or whatever, interviews and stuff. So still working on those. But in the meantime, if there's people out there that have a topic that they're knowledgeable on or something they're interested in and want to either do a co-host an episode or something like that, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And I'm expecting you, Brendan, that while I'm doing the episodes of October, that you take that time to get ready for November and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Last time I tried to turn lights off and make it spooky, it just never worked. And then my kid ended up walking up to me and scaring me, so that just didn't work out in my favor either. But we're gonna jump into today's topic.
So interesting point before you start, Adam. Yeah, underwater is a cool Halloween. I want to still do maybe like a what is it called? Like everybody watches the movie together type of thing.
A watch party? Yeah,
that's it. I couldn't think of the movie for it. Anyway, like a watch party some night or something like that, or sometime to a movie. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, let's talk after this because I think there's a way we could do that.
Yeah. So, good point there, Babe. And underwater is a good one. There's a bunch of good, scary underwater movies we could do, but
maybe that should be either next Tuesdays or the Tuesday after. I
think we need to get a little more notice than a week, but
whatever. We'll talk about it later. I don't even think you know what I'm talking about, Brendan.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, can I do my episode yet?
Just go.
Okay, all right, guys. I pulled up a news article by maritimezone.com. Actually, it's maritime-zone.com, and we're going to throw the link up in the show notes, and you guys can read this.
Those are good ones, babe.
And so is what I'm covering today is unexplained ship disappearances that have happened in history. So it's a bit of reading, and I'm going to try to, keep you guys involved here, but this stuff fascinates me. Stuff that, historically, when you see, that's the scary thing about the ocean is how easily something could get lost, or you have so much space and there's so much whatever, and there's so much unknowns out there. It's both the terrifying thing and fascinating thing about it, really, because there's so much to learn, and yet it's just a scary place. So, anyways, we're going to jump into the first one, and a lot of people know about this one, okay? So this one is called the Mary Celeste, and according to this, it's the perfect mystery. So there's a lot of information out there, and I'm going to read the facts about this. It's been 150 years since this ship has disappeared, and no theory explains what happened to this. So here's what we do know about the ship, okay? The Mary Celeste was an American merchant brigantine, which was 103 foot, also 31 meters long, and 25.7 feet wide. Captain Benjamin Briggs, who was also one of the investors, took over the vessel in October of 1872 in New York of the United States. Mary Celeste was loaded with 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol to be delivered to Genoa, Italy. Okay, Captain Briggs had 18 years of seagoing experience and took his wife and 2-year-old baby daughter into this voyage. The rest of the crew consisted of 7 equally experienced seamen, handpicked by Briggs. On December 4th, 1872, the Canadian, am I saying the word right? Brigantine? Sorry.
I have to see the word.
De Grati spotted Mary Celeste midway between the Azore Islands and Portugal. The vessel was abandoned with a lifeboat missing. The final entry to the ship log was dated 8 a.m. November the 25th and positioned Mary Celeste near Santa Maria Island off the Azores, almost 400 nautical miles from the place of the encounter. Mary Celeste was seaworthy with a slightly wet interior and disheveled sails. All personal belongings and food stores were in place. Captain's navigational instruments were missing. So, no traces of a lifeboat or its passengers have ever been found. So, the mystery is why the experienced master and crew decided to leave a perfectly good vessel. Now, with this article, the cool thing is that they have some theories of what may have happened. So, the first theory here is that when de Gratia brought an abandoned Mary Celeste to... There's a lot of location names I can't pronounce, sorry. Gibraltar, the salvage hearings and investigation... Gibraltar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gibraltar. The investigation took several weeks. The first and most popular theory is that the vessel was attacked by pirates who made the crew leave in a lifeboat. However, the Mary Celeste bore no signs of a struggle. More to the point, the vessel's valuable cargo, the provisions, and all personal possessions were left intact. Theory number 2 is 3 crew members of the De Gratia, who came on board of the abandoned brigantine, have spotted a hearing rod lying on the deck. Together with the wet interior, it led experts to the version that a hurried leaving of the vessel was caused by a water spout, which is the natural phenomenon where low barometric pressure generates, together with malfunctioning pumps, could have created an impression that Mary Celeste was taking water rapidly. So they probably people think they panicked and left. The theory number 3 is a sea quake leading to an explosion. There are some indications that a hurried escape was caused by another rare natural phenomenon, which is a sea quake. The Azores are known as one of the most seismically active zones on the planet, and sea quake might have caused noxious fumes to escape and accumulate in the holds. Open hatches and cargo holds point to some inspection of a ventilation attempt, so Captain Briggs might have ordered to leave the vessel in fear of an explosion. We again get stuck at the question, why didn't they return from the yawl when it became obvious that there was no danger? Some sources assume, though, that the lifeboat hadn't been secured properly, and a sudden blow might have driven the Mary Celeste from her crew. The last theory is just foul play. What's that place again? The Gibraltar?
Gibraltar.
Well, Gibraltar Salvage Committee has also considered 2 unappealing possibilities. That the De Gratia crew had lured seamen and passengers of Mary Celeste to their vessel and then slaughtered them all, staging this elaborate charade to receive insurance payments. And then the other one is captains of Mary Celeste and De Gratia had conspired in an insurance fraud. They were known to be friends. Again, neither version looks viable, as Mary Celeste was faster and had left New York 8 days earlier, meaning that 2 vessels should not have met under normal circumstances at all. The insurance fraud version crumbled as it became known that Captain Briggs had left his 7-year-old son with his grandmother in New York. Gibraltar salvage hearings have resulted in payments of only 1/5 of the total ship and cargo value, as the jury was not convinced in the absence of foul play. By the year 2021, the mystery of the Mary Celeste remains unresolved. Any commentary to that?
How deep is she?
The Mary Celeste, how deep?
Yeah.
As in like the boat, or?
Yeah.
It says it's 103 feet long and 25.7 feet wide.
Oh, it didn't sink?
No, they found it. Like,
okay.
They came across it, and it was just abandoned.
Or it could have been
aliens.
The Philadelphia experiment. And it could have been something.
I think this is way before the Philadelphia experiment.
I'm just saying. But the Philadelphia experiment was talking about like time traveling and stuff like that. Maybe you went back to the Mary Celeste.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the next
No,
one.
but I think it's kind of like the Bermuda Triangle. I mean, there's been so many things, but you don't hear about anything happening in the Bermuda Triangle now with technology. But so many weird things were happening back before we had current technology with a bunch of these ships.
Right.
That you don't hear nearly about the accidents or the disappearances that you used to hear about. Now that we have GPS and satellites and all that other kind of stuff, it just doesn't happen anymore. So it could have been pirates even.
Well, that's what the first theory was. If you would have
Yeah.
been listening.
Sure. So, it's been a long day, dude. I'm trying to catch up here.
Keep up. All right. So here's the second one. Okay. The USS Cyclops, and this is the beginning of the Bermuda Triangle story.
Here we go.
The USS Cyclops is one of U.S. Navy colliers with DWT, I don't know what that means, of 19670T. Someone's going to have to explain some of these numbers to me. I'm actually going to copy and paste this into the chat, and you guys tell me what I'm not understanding about the terminology here. Okay. Anyways, they had a crew of 309 seamen. Her disappearance in early March of 1918 has become the first such massive loss of life in a single maritime accident in the American history. USS Cyclops was a relatively new vessel. She was launched in 1910 and commissioned in 1917 to fuel American Navy ships during World War I. The vessel served along the East Coast and on 16th of February 1918 left Rio de Janeiro en route to Baltimore loaded with manganese ore. The USS Cyclops made stops in Salvador and Barbados, which was on the 4th of March 1918. Then her trace disappears. The U.S. Navy annual report just declares its loss, but debates about Cyclops' fate debates about the Cyclops' fate were rather heated. 4 theories have taken definite shape after a while. The first theory is a maritime accident. This version was based on several incontrovertible facts. Man, this article's filled with words I can't say. Anyways, the USS Cyclops was overloaded with manganese ore when she left Brazil. The captain sent a report from Rio that starboard engine had a cracked cylinder and was not operative. Other vessels confirmed a severe tropical storm in the region when USS Cyclops sea. Manganese ore can turn into a slurry when wet, affecting stability as a result. Contemplating these facts can lead to a certain and boring conclusion about the about the disappearance of the USS Cyclops. But here comes the German influence theory. So theory 2, German trace. After the mysterious disappearance of the USS Cyclops, the Office of Naval Intelligence has looked at the controversial figure of Captain Worley more closely. They have discovered that his real name was Johann Friedrich Witschem. He was born near Hanover, Germany, and entered the USA by jumping from the ship in 1878. His maritime career was spotted with violence towards his crew and included opium traffic from the Far East to San Francisco. Thus, many have suspected that Captain Worley had just handed the vessel to the Germans. The problem with this theory is that no records about USS Cyclops have been found in Germany afterwards. Theory number 3 is critical defect. Another plausible theory occurred when the Cyclops sister ship USS Proteus and USS Nereus vanished in Bermuda Triangle in 1941 without a trace as well. Experts have discovered that the vessels had a critical defect in the central I-beam that corroded easily, affected by some cargo. Given that the area is known for fierce storms, all ships might have sank due to the construction defect aggravated by weather conditions. And theory number 4 is Bermuda Triangle. Naturally, there are people who attribute the disappearance of the USS Cyclops to the paranormal activity in the Bermuda Triangle. To clarify, this is the region in the Atlantic Ocean roughly bounded by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Many ships and aircrafts have vanished in the area, so adepts of paranormal theories claim that the Bermuda Triangle contains a wormhole to another dimension. There are gates to hell there. There's considerable alien activity. There's time warps there. The Atlantis people caused the disappearances. There's reverse gravity field, and sea monsters infest the area. So, meanwhile, the density of traffic may account for the frequency of accidents, given that the Bermuda Triangle gives birth to violent storms. Also, there are some gravity anomalies indeed. Those make, compasses spin there, but this can be encountered in other places in the world too. Methane hydrates are found in the Bermuda Triangle. Australian laboratory experiments have confirmed that gas bubbles are able to sink a ship by reducing the density of the water considerably. I think that's been the big thing about the Bermuda Triangle, is that people discovered that last part. So, ooh, you went quiet, sir. I can't hear you. Because you muted yourself.
I did. Yeah, so it works for ships because Cyclops sank to the methane gas uprising from beginning to sea. All three were sailing the same approximate route, same at the time of the year. Oceans may fart on schedule. Yeah, I've also heard that there's pockets of like fresh water under the ocean in places too, and that can also, if those bust, obviously the difference in the weight between salt water and fresh water can also cause those as well.
Right.
So yeah, and that accounts for ships, but doesn't count for like planes and issues like that over in the Sargasso Sea or the Bermuda Triangle area.
Yeah.
I think that obviously, and I used to watch tons of shows on this back in the day about the Bermuda Triangle, and there were people testing different things and showing how easy it was to sink a ship by those methane bubbles and stuff along those lines. So that makes the most sense, I think, for most ships.
Yeah. So, quick side conversation. So, millions of people have figured this out. Do people still use the Bermuda Triangle as a high area of travel, like right now? Like, maybe like at one point it was avoided, or because of all the mystery behind it. But like, say in today's standards, do people still like be like, hey, let's not fly directly over it because it does mess with the compasses, or or do people still?
Like I said, I don't know, but I would assume yes, because of just where it's at and a traffic route. And now that the compass, everything's digital for the most part anymore.
Right.
The actual physical compass is like a last-ditch effort, I think, type of thing. So when you got GPS and everything's pre-programmed out, it's just like you just go and it just whatever.
Huh.
I would assume the answer is yes to that. That's still probably heavily used. And that's why, because the thing I was just watching not too long ago was talking about, it was a major sailing and flight route for a while there. And that's why there were so many disappearances. But when you actually factor it into how many there is around the world, it wasn't that much. They just, people want to see or want to have something happening, so they're going to look for it.
Well, and it's, when you think about it's not that big of an area. So when you try to concentrate it, it probably does seem like a lot when you think of like just the size of the route, I guess you could say.
And sidebar or side conversation to talk about, get off on the Bermuda Triangle, since it is a interesting subject. I remember back in the 90s, there was a show I was watching, and they were talking about, some diver said he had found a pyramid under the water in the Bermuda Triangle.
About that.
Yeah. And of course, in the Bimini Road and all that kind of stuff, they thought were parts of Atlantis. So yeah, there's a lot of speculation and wild comments about stuff that people have supposedly seen under there. But my thing is, if somebody saw a pyramid underwater, I would be down there with whatever I had to be trying to dig that sucker up and find that again. And then I can't find it again. It's like, you kind of knew where you're at and you can't find it again. I don't know.
Well, that's kind of like when we talked a while back about ocean mysteries, that one weird rock formation that looked like an alien ship that
yeah, right.
They're really skeptical about letting people know where they found it and stuff. So yeah. Okay. Moving on to number.
I agree, babe. It is weird and cool.
I haven't read about that, so I want to look into that. This one, I'm going to skip one. I'm going to, just because, sake of time. Oh, real quick, let's see what Glenn said. Ships are larger and gas bubbles can cover a small surface, and ships are loaded to scale and size as our trucks. Numbers ran make things a little safer, and bigger surface area equals safer surface area used against smaller natural deviations. Yeah, I suppose, because when you look at the engineering of, like, say, like an aircraft carrier or these, like, cargo ships, like, you just think of, like, all that weight and how everything's distributed and stuff that you think, like, I don't know. To me, I'd be like, oh, God, that thing could tip over very easily. But obviously, a lot of engineering it goes into that to make them safe and work, so...
Yeah, Paul. Yeah. So which are those the ones I was talking about? Because I like say it's been what 20 some years ago since I watched this thing. Are those the same ones or were they different? Because for some reason I was thinking they were closer to Bermuda, but maybe they weren't. I just remember it was in those waters somewhere. And which pyramids are these? Or was this more of a ziggurat? Or was it an actual pyramid, or what? Which ones are you talking about? Because I'd be curious on those. I don't know those.
All right, while he's typing that, I'm going to get into this next one.
All right.
Another intriguing ship disappearance took place well away from Bermuda Triangle. British passenger vessel Waratah, which was a 500-foot-long vessel, vanished without a trace in July 1909, claiming the lives of 211 people on board. So here's the facts that we know about the SS Waratah. Waratah is often called the Titanic of the South, as she was a big 9,339-ton and new steamship traveling... That can't be right. 9,339 tons? That could be right. A new steamship traveling between Europe and Australia. The boat left Adelaide on July 7th, 1909, made it safely to Durban, which is in South Africa, and left for Cape Town on the 25th of July, 1909. One of the passengers, engineer Claude S. Sawyer, disembarked in Durban and cabled his wife that thought Waratah top-heavy landed Durban. I'm sorry. Tapped as in, or cabled as in a telegram. And the message was, thought Waratah top-heavy landed Durban. Okay. Sorry. Had to clarify that. Later the same day, the weather deteriorated while Waratah was glimpsed by a bigger steamship. Tanker Harlow's crew admitted that Waratah emitted a lot of smoke. They thought the vessel had been on fire. Then they saw two bright flashes and Waratah's running lights disappeared. So there's been vain searches for the SS Waratah. The fate of the Waratah and her over 200 passengers remained unknown for almost 90 years when Emlyn Brown, a marine explorer from South African National Underwater and Marine Agency, also known as NUMA, announced that he had discovered the location of the wreck off the Eastern Cape Coast in July of 1999. However, the later update made by Dr. Brown in 2001 shows that Waratah keeps her secrets. Although the submarine dive to the wreck was flawless, the wreck we thought was the Waratah is in fact not the Waratah. It is a cargo ship carrying military hardware, tanks, tires, trucks, etc. that we now know has sunk by U-boat in 1942. I and all involved are stunned beyond belief and almost speechless at what was seen on the floor. So they did not find this ship. The findings are impressive indeed, but SS Waratah remains one of the great maritime mysteries. The last search for it took place in 2004. So people don't even know where this ship's at. They thought they found it, didn't find it. So that was like a little short one. Not a lot of theories behind of like what could have possibly happened, but yeah, that's crazy. 200 passengers just unaccounted for. The other one is, I have another one, SS Bachamo, which is the ghost ship of the Arctic. The curious case of ship abandonment happened in October the 1st, 1931, near Barrow, Alaska, whatever. Steamship Bachamo, carrying the cargo of furs, got trapped in pack ice and was left by her crew, who took refuge in the town nearby. Meanwhile, the vessel broke free and wandered for a week before finding herself pinned by ice more thoroughly in the Hudson's Bay. 22 crew members were evacuated, while 15 seamen remained in the wooden shelter they built next to the vessel, taking the most valuable furs and guarding the rest of the loot. Another week passed, and on the 15th of October, 1931, the vessel vanished during a fierce blizzard. Remaining seafarers conclude that she had not survived the storm and sank. But a few days later, an Inuit seal hunter said that he saw Bachamo drifting 42 nautical miles away from the camp. It appeared he was right. HMO had been drifting abandoned for almost 40 years after that. The last sighting is dated 1969 when she was spotted stuck in ice in the Chukchi Sea. It seemed an unusually long life for an unmanned boat, especially in the area notoriously famous for its winter storms and pack ice. HMO is often referred to as the ghost ship of the Arctic, and the name is justifiable. There had been several attempts to board the vessel, but every time it was abandoned again, either due to new crew's inadequacy to salvage such a vessel or because of the rough weather. The ultimate fate of the HMO is unknown. In 2006, the Alaskan government initiated a search for the ghost vessel, drifting or wrecked, but it has yet to be found. So another one that's just been kind of could stop, possibly just be out there floating around. And the last one I got is actually, I believe, about a submarine. Hold on a second. Many sources, so this is the USS Scorpion. Many sources associate the disappearance of the USS Scorpion with the Bermuda Triangle, although the accident took place some 400 miles off the Azores. Meanwhile, taking the submarine from the Devil's Triangle shade doesn't make the circumstances of her loss any less mysterious. It is easy to concoct a mystery from a brigantine vanishing that happened almost 200 years ago, but USS Scorpion was a U.S. Navy nuclear submarine with at least 2 nuclear-tipped torpedoes, nuclear-powered propulsion, and all the spy equipment that was available at the time. The submarine, which was serialized SSN 589, belonged to Skipjack class and was commissioned in 1960. The crew was experienced. The commanding officer even had a Navy Commendation Medal for taking shots of Soviet missile launches. They managed to penetrate into the inland Russian waters, film the launch from periscope, and flee unscathed when finally noticed by the Soviet Navy ships. USS Scorpion underwent a protracted overhaul in 1967 in her home base of Norfolk. She departed home to the U.S. East Coast in May 1968. The last radio check-in was on the 21st of May 1968. USS Scorpion reported her position 50 miles off the Azores when she disappeared. Later this year, the wreck was located at 3,000 meters depth, some 400 miles southwest of the Azores. USS Scorpion was broken in 2 pieces, and it was obvious that the operations compartment had sustained major damage. So, why did the USS Scorpion sink? Theory number 1, attacked by Soviet submarine. The first theory that surfaced put the blame on some unidentified Soviet submarine that might have attacked the USS Scorpion. The Cold War between the two countries was acute at the time, but the Naval Board of the Inquiry finally stated that there were no vessels within 200 miles where Scorpion sank. Theory number 2, accidental torpedo explosion. Dr. John Craven, the chief scientist of the Navy's Special Projects Office, has devoted almost 30 years to the Scorpion mystery. His findings suggest that the submarine was hit by her own torpedo, either because of the malfunctioning batteries that had a tendency to overheat and could have caused a fire in the torpedo unit, or due to the accidental activation of a torpedo inside the tube. Theory number 3, hydrogen explosion. Bruce Rule, the analyst of the Integrated Undersea Surveillance System, has provided the theory that hydrogen jammed in the recently changed ventilation line, which might have caused the explosion during the surfacing to periscope depth. The theory is supported by 2 explosions aboard a submarine picked up by hydrophones, and the fact that the Scorpion's headlight was in an open position as if she was surfaced at the time. So, in 2012, U.S. Submarine Veterans Society, together with relatives of the USS Scorpion's crew, called for the reopening of the investigation on the submarine. The Navy rejected the request. So that's the last one I had.
Well, very fascinating.
Yeah, so that last one, like I said, submarine. Don't know what happened. The creepy thing about that is the fact that it's a nuclear submarine.
Why do you think that's creepy?
Not creepy, but scary, just because, I mean, it's a pretty big deal. Like when something... here's Glenn. God, I love having Glenn here. I was 17 then. Remember the Scorpion. I believe the 2 governments pushed the limits playing cat and mouse and lost the ship, kept it quiet to save face. It's a possibility. I think, just obviously a lot of that stuff took place before I was even born, but I think a lot more happened than what they let on. Like, because everybody, kind of talks about how it was, the Cold War was basically just waving big sticks at each other and just kind of provoking each other, but without much interaction.
The Cold War never ended. I mean, it still goes on
because of global warming.
No,
it's not cold anymore.
But DePaul talking about off Jamaica and the images there. Yeah, so I really quickly did some really quick Google searching for this. And when I was talking about what I found, I think the one I was talking about was off of Bermuda, and it's back found in the 70s, and he's talking about reporting in the 90s on it. It's like a big glass pyramid they supposedly found with crystals inside and all that kind of stuff. He's like, And then I searched for Jamaica. I couldn't find one in Jamaica, but I found the one they believe off of Cuba. And once again, it's iffy. I mean, they all are. But at the same time, if it had been underwater for a long time, it's probably not going to look like you think it's going to look anymore anyway. So, but to the same extent, I do believe there are man-made structures underwater that we have not yet found, and that we will find as we start excavating and building and stuff underwater. And that's just one of that alone, the archaeological aspect of what's under the ocean, because you look at like the Library of Alexandria over in the Mediterranean, man, if we ever find that, who knows where that's at, one of the 7 lost wonders of the world. There's so much stuff underwater that would just be so cool to find. And we know it's down there somewhere. They're just finding it. Yeah.
I thought the Library of Alexandria burned.
Am I thinking of something else then? I thought but I think it was on the coast. I'll address the other questions in there while I look it up real fast.
I don't think there's any questions.
Well, I saw Babe was posting something in there.
We're having issues with Twitch right now. Not that we're having viewers from. Well, it just told us that we were. Anyways, yeah, Glenn said in regard to that, nukes underwater don't spread as much as what you might think, and absorption of radioactivity materials are dissipated in a matter of days. More than once. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm sorry, I understand what you said. Yeah, nuclear things like really intrigue me just because like I'm really obsessed with the whole Chernobyl thing. Like how that happened and like all the science behind it, like trying to grasp all that just because like how even to this day that's still such a dangerous site and how they're trying to like to this day like literally covering it up because of just the amount of radiation and stuff. But just like how that kind of relationship with like just water works. I don't know, just seems really crazy to me and how all that stuff works. But still, I got to think, even if it's not as bad, you still probably wouldn't want a nuclear warhead or something going off underwater. Right? Right, Brendan? Am I crazy thinking that?
Sorry, I was reading up on Alexandria real fast here. I mean, and I think that was the problem with what was the one over in Japan when they had that was it tsunami or that earthquake a couple years ago. The problem was Fukushima, that it was the waters were leaking out into the ocean and were causing issues because of that. So I mean, it's not good. The water is a big forgiving area that does dissipate a lot of that too, but at the same time, it's not something you want to be dumping nuclear waste into the ocean either. So
maybe that's what we have to do with the Great Garbage Patch is just nuke it.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I hope nobody has me on record saying that. Like,
oh yeah, really. I'm gonna put it on our TikTok. That's going to be our TikTok for the week.
Well, let's just nuke the garbage patch.
I mean, Elon Musk says nuke Mars to get an atmosphere. So,
yeah, I'm not Elon Musk. If I was, we would have this thing built. What else do we want to cover tonight? Are we good?
Yeah, so I was trying. Yeah, it did burn, but for some reason I think that it burnt and fell into the ocean is what I think.
So then why would you want to find it? All the books are gone.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, fire and paper don't usually mix very well.
I mean, a lot of them were sealed in jars and stuff like that, so it's potential that they could have survived.
What? There's books in jars?
Yeah. That's how they found the Dead Sea Scrolls and stuff like that. They're stuck in jars and then sealed, and that's how they're able to preserve them. That's how they used to preserve stuff like that. And they put them in jars and then put like a wax seal on top of them so that it was protected from all air and elements and stuff like that, so they were preserved.
Huh. Okay, I thought you were just messing with me.
No. That's what I'm saying. It's possible, highly unlikely. But at the same time, they had they also had stone plates that stuff was scratched on were ancient texts, so those would have probably survived, even though they'd probably be destroyed by water and whatever by now. And yeah, see, Babe agrees with me.
He didn't even put a word in there. Yep.
Anyway, are you doing something again next Tuesday, or am I taking back over next Tuesday?
I'll do something next Tuesday, but I do want to leave it open if anybody has some the mysterious stuff. If you guys have subject matter, throw it at me before I'll have something ready. But if there's like a certain thing that you guys want to hear about, like we did the ships today. Last week we did some scuba related stuff. Yep. So if there's other stuff you guys want to dive into, we can do it. So
Babe, are you itching to get back on here and talk about some stuff? Yeah, see, Babe's all about it. Obviously not next week, but in 2 weeks. So that could be a possibility.
I do think we should do a movie thing, like like underwater horror movies or like oceanic horror movies.
And you might want to throw something in Discord too.
Like what?
Asking people about.
Oh, okay.
In general. Yeah. We'll talk, babe. But I said I've been wanting to do a watch party for quite a while, so I think that could be fun. Obviously, we can't show the movie. That's what a whole watch party is. So, but I wonder if we could do Patreon or something like that.
We'll figure something out, buddy.
Yeah. But anyway, it'll be fun.
We ready to run down them?
I'm trying to think. I don't think there's anything else we needed to go over. Yeah, I can't think of anything right now.
Well, here, while I'm going down this, grab the link to Discord and we'll throw it in the chat, okay?
Alrighty.
All right, AtlanticSeaColony.com, guys. That's where you can find all of our social medias, the Facebook, the Twitter, the LinkedIn, the Instagram, the TikTok. The Discord link is on there as well. YouTube, everything about Atlantic Sea Colony is there. Also, I'm going to mix up our order real quick. While you're at AtlanticSeaColony.com, go over to merch. Check out this cool hat that I got here. You see that? ASC hat? It's a great hat. And you know where I got it? At AtlanticSeaColony.com/merch. It's one of the ways you can help us out. Not only do we get like a little kickback from every time something gets bought off that site, but when you like wear an ASC shirt, when you wear an ASC hat, you're helping us out because people will be like, "Hey, what does ASC mean?" And you'll be like, "Well, let me tell you, ma'am or sir or young child. I would love to tell you about it." And then they're just like, "Oh, well, my name's Bill Gates, and I have like all this money I want to throw away, and I'm really glad I got to learn about this project." And we'd be like, "Thank you, and we will take your $1 billion." So, anyways, you can do that at AtlanticSeaColony.com/merch. Also, Patreon.com/AtlanticSeaColony. If you want to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, that helps us put a little bit of that money in the account. Helps us get a little bit further along in our project. Every little bit helps, hook a brother up. PayPal.me/Atlantic Sea Colony. One-time donation that you want to do, you can do it through there. Also, Brendan, we didn't put your Cash App in here.
I just threw it in the chat, though.
Okay, so if you want to do Cash App, you can do Cash App. Anything helps. Also, thank you to our patrons that we have right now. I'm just going to redo. Oh, I didn't know I could do this. Okay, sorry. Talking to myself.
I just created a thing for the Cash App there, too.
Yeah. So, patrons, Edward Haas, Brian Acosta, S. Babe Hyde, Matthew Cathy, thank you guys for your donations in Patreon. Also, just, right here, AtlanticSeaColony.com for the Cash App. You can use that as like a one-time donation type thing.
There's not a .com. It's not .com.
Okay, change it. It's just $sign Atlantic Sea Colony.
It is.
Brendan's got to get his stuff together here.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for all your help. Thanks for tuning into this.
And Babe's like commenting there about how it's true about his shirt. He gets asked questions about the shirt. I have yet to get asked questions about my shirt, but I mostly only wear it out to the gym and stuff like that, too.
Well, the thing is, too, is that you're not a very approachable person.
What's that supposed to mean? And most of them I'm wearing it at the gym, so there is that, too.
Oh, nice flex, okay? I wear it at the gym a lot.
And Baby hasn't been here so long. We got a new Patreon member since then. Actually, Matthew is a new Patreon member who actually has been a supporter for a while. is in the Discord with us. He actually contributes in there as well. I think he's a good ad. I definitely want to try to get. I think he'd be fun to have on sometime. I've had a video call with him before. I think he'd be good to get on here sometime too.
Yeah. I only wear my Atlantic Sea Colony stuff when I'm like building orphanages and stuff like that, or when I'm like working at the food shelter and stuff.
Oh man, yeah. Now, I will do that once I lose probably about 20 or 30 more pounds. I will take it off. This is as low as it gets otherwise. So
what does that have anything to do with anything?
About being approachable. You're talking about not being approachable.
So you think the beard's like what's preventing people from doing it? You don't think it's just the vibe?
What vibe? People I'm very approachable.
Okay.
Just saying.
Well, I'll take your word for it. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us again.
Hop over to Discord. Oh, I forgot to throw Discord in here real fast.
What? Oh, I thought you already did that. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. So throw Discord. Come join us in Discord. I don't live in there as much as I should, but there is some good stuff going in there.
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah, we got some really good stuff going in there.
Yeah, it's been awesome. I'm glad that we got it going. So.
Yeah, between Babe, Hira, and Matthew hasn't posted in there recently, but as well, yeah. I said we're up to we're getting close to 20 people in there. So
yeah. All right, guys. Glenn, we'll see you soon, buddy. Everybody else, we'll see you soon as well. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and see you next